The wet mountains rise like guardians of forgotten time, cloaked in pine and spruce, kissed by morning fog that drifts like a veil across their ridges. Somewhere within these jagged slopes, history has buried a secret that refuses to die. They call it Dead Man's Cave, a name that chills the bone and excites the imagination all at once. It was the year 1880. Colorado was booming with dreams of gold, silver, and untold riches hidden beneath the soil. Prospectors came in droves, armed with pickaxes, shovels, and a hunger that knew no rest. Among them were three men, S.J. Harkman, H.A. Melton, and E.J. Oliver, ordinary names in a sea of miners. Yet fate had chosen them to stumble upon something extraordinary. Their journey began 2 miles north of what is now remembered as Dead Man Camp. A storm was rolling in, dark clouds gathering like a curtain drawn tight over the sky. Winds howled through the canyons. Snow fell thick, blinding, biting, suffocating. The three men searched desperately for shelter before the blizzard swallowed them whole. Then they saw it, a small opening, nearly invisible against the canyon wall. Without hesitation, they forced their way through the narrow gap, torches sputtering in the damp air. What lay beyond stunned them into silence. A chamber, 20 feet long, hollowed out not by nature's hand, but by something older, deliberate. The walls bore marks and chisels of human effort, and from that chamber stretched tunnels, black, yawning, inviting them deeper. What were these passages? Who carved them? Driven by survival, by curiosity, by that eternal lure of the unknown, the men pressed on. Deeper still they went, until they entered a cavern vast and solemn, a vault-like room. Its silence was heavy, pressing against their ears, as though the mountain itself was holding its breath. Melton lifted his torch and froze. Carved into the stone were shelves, not wood or metal, but directly into the rock. On these shelves rested objects. At first glance, they seemed like crude stones, rough and unpolished. But as the light hit them, a faint gleam betrayed their true nature. Gold. Not coins, not nuggets, but bars, oddly shaped, primitive, yet unmistakable. The kind of discovery that turns men into legends and legends into obsessions. The three examined them, disbelief etched across their faces. Could it be gold hidden away in secret, perhaps left by ancient hands, or stashed by Spanish explorers fleeing centuries earlier? They didn't know. What they did know was that fortune had smiled upon them. They each carried out 5 bars when the storm finally broke. And so, with trembling hands and racing hearts, they emerged back into the world of men, bearing secrets worth more than gold itself. The town of Silvercliff was no stranger to miners parading in with shiny promises. Yet when Harkman, Melton, and Oliver walked through its dusty streets clutching strange, uneven bars, the whispers began immediately. The appraiser turned each bar over, weighed it, tested it. The result silenced even the loudest doubters. Gold, pure, real, heavy, each bar worth $900, a fortune in 1880, enough to build homes, buy land, change lives overnight. But the bars were unlike anything seen in the typical mining camps. Their shape was crude, as though smelted with primitive tools, perhaps centuries earlier. They did not bear the refinement of modern miners. They seemed ancient. Rumors spread like fire in dry grass. Some claimed the gold was treasure left by Spanish conquistadors who ventured north in the 16th and 17th centuries, carrying riches stolen from the New World. Others whispered it was a hoard of an outlaw band, hidden away in desperation. A few even suggested native tribes had worked with gold, creating their own secret caches. But above all, the people wanted one thing: location. Where had these three men found their impossible treasure? The prospectors, however, remained tight-lipped. Not a word slipped from their mouths, not even under the tempting offers of drinks, land, or money. They guarded their secret with iron resolve. And why wouldn't they? Riches like these could change the course of their lives forever. If they revealed the cave, they'd lose their claim, their control, their destiny. Winter passed into spring. The snow melted from the peaks. Streams roared with awe. The wet mountains, alive once more, called them back. For the three men, the gold was not just a memory. It was a promise. Spring of 1881. Harkman, Melton, and Oliver returned, determined to reclaim what they had left behind. They carried supplies, tools, maps sketched hurriedly on scraps of paper, and the fire of obsession burning in their eyes. The cave was out there. They had walked its chambers, touched its shelves, held its treasure in their hands. Surely, with patience, they would find it again. Days passed, then weeks. They scoured canyons, probed crevices, lit torches in countless dark mouths of rock. Each one led them to disappointment. Dead ends, empty caverns, or treacherous drops that swallow their hopes whole. They retraced their steps from memory, replaying every detail of that stormy night. The blizzard had blurred landmarks, hidden ridges, covered trails. What seemed so clear in memory grew tangled and uncertain in reality. Was the opening hidden by landslides? Had the mountain shifted with the season? Or had they stumbled into a place meant to reveal itself only once? Days bled into weeks, and the gold remained out of reach. Their failure did not stop others. Word had spread, and treasure hunters swarmed the wet mountains, combing every canyon, probing every cave. The name Dead Man's Cave began to echo among them, a place both feared and revered. But none found the shelves. None touched the bars. For Harkman, Melton, and Oliver, the failure was bitter. They had tasted glory, only to lose it forever. Or was it forever? Time, as it always does, wrapped truth in layers of myth. The story of Dead Man's Cave spread far beyond Silvercliff. Across Colorado, across America, tales of lost treasure stirred the hearts of dreamers. Campfire stories painted vivid pictures. A hidden vault of gold guarded by spirits, a cursed cave that refused to be found, riches waiting for the worthy. Each retelling added new details, stretching the line between fact and folklore. Some swore the gold was part of the fabled Spanish treasure of the Rockies. Centuries earlier, Spanish expeditions had traveled north, seeking riches to feed their empire. When attacked by native tribes, it was said they buried their haul in secret chambers before fleeing back south. Others claimed the cave was used by outlaws, bandits who robbed stagecoaches and trains, hiding their plunder deep within the mountains. Still others believed something more mysterious, that the cave was alive, shifting, cloaking itself from intruders, revealing its heart only once before sealing itself away again. The wet mountains grew a reputation, a mystery. Dead Man's Camp, once a simple name, became synonymous with danger and hope. Treasure hunters came in waves. Few returned with more than sore backs and empty hands. Some vanished into the wilderness, never to be seen again. Their ghosts, locals said, joined the guardians of Dead Man's Cave. And always, the shells of gold lingered in their imagination, untouched, waiting. Decades passed. The world changed. Silver booms rose and fell. Trains carved through Colorado. Wars erupted and ended. Yet Dead Man's Cave remained an unsolved mystery. Historians pored over records, searching for clues. Some dismissed the story as fabrication, a tall tale spun by prospectors to earn fleeting fame. Yet the evidence of those 5 bars, appraised and confirmed, could not be denied. They existed. If those were real, then so too was the cavern from which they came. In the 20th century, explorers with modern equipment scoured the wet mountains. They mapped caves, measured passages, documented finds. Yet the vault with its shelves remained elusive. Metal detectors, ground-penetrating radar, even satellite imaging in later years, all failed to reveal the chamber. It was as if the earth itself had swallowed the treasure. Still, the legend endured. It found its way into books, into tourist brochures, into the imaginations of children staring wide-eyed at the mountains on family trips. And in the quiet of campfires, where flames dance and shadows flicker, the story is told still. A whisper, a challenge, a promise. Today, the wet mountains stand as they always have, silent, timeless, concealing secrets beneath their ridges. Dead Man's Cave, whether real or myth, continues to haunt those who hear its name. Could the shells of gold still lie untouched in the darkness? Could the bars, worth fortunes in 1880 and incalculable today, be waiting for the one person who stumbles upon the right crack in the rock, the right shadow at dusk? Or is the cave gone forever, collapsed, buried, erased by the mountain's eternal hand? Perhaps the truth is not in the gold itself, but in the story. For what is treasure, if not the hope it plants in the human heart? Men have died chasing it. Others have lived richer lives just dreaming of it. Harkman, Melton, and Oliver are long gone. Their voices lost to history, but their discovery, real, fleeting, unrepeatable, remains alive. A frozen moment where three men, seeking only shelter, found impossible. And so the legend lives on, in whispers carried by wind through pine trees, in shadows that dance across canyon walls, in the restless dreams of treasure hunters who still, even now, make their way into the wet mountains near Silvercliff, hoping that fate might smile once more. The lost treasure of Dead Man's Cave is not just a hoard of gold. It is a mirror of human longing, ambition, obsession, a promise waiting in the dark.